What is up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. Today with a slightly different backdrop. I'm outside of the office, but I wanted to get another episode out to you guys. So for those of you who don't know, who am I? My name is Shadi Azada. I am the creative director and founder of Fittdesign, the world's first digital sportswear fashion design agency where we specialize in helping brands go from a concept to a physical product in under 30 days. And what we have done over the last 7 years is I have personally had the pleasure of working with some of the sportswear industry's biggest names and directly dealing with entrepreneurs one-on-one who have grown multi-million dollar brands. And today I'm going to give you guys my insights on what I have personally learned from these founders myself working with them. So hopefully if you're starting your own brand or you're scaling your business, you can learn from them as well. So on this channel, we talk about sportswear, activewear, yoga wear, and casual wear, as well as streetwear, and only those topics. If you're interested in that, well, this is the episode for you. I'm gonna start off by mentioning specifically the key 5 brands that we'll be discussing, which are going to be Alphalete Athletics, owned by Christian Guzman, Buffbunny, owned by Heidi Sommers, YoungLA, owned by Gary and Dashmeet Singh, SuperX, owned by Austin Gain, and then Inaka Power, owned by Charlie Coker, as well as a couple of key other players. So without further ado, we'll get right into the episode. First, Christian Guzman with Alphalete. What can we learn from his journey and his story? Well, number one is the idea of personal branding. As a founder, you need to be able to generate attention to bring customers to your brand. What Christian did extremely well is he pioneered the idea of personal branding as a means of launching a business and using that as the launchpad for a product range. Christian's been on YouTube since 2012. He is the father of YouTube fitness, doing a lot of different things like vlogs, day in the life, and he introduced his own personal Christian Guzman athletics or apparel under his brand in around 2013. This was a great testing point to get him into the wider realm, which is now considered Alphalete. And it just goes to show when you have a personal brand behind you and you've actually done the work and the effort, the impact that the personal brand has on how customers receive your product is much higher than that of another brand, which is simply using a marketing strategy or they're employing influencers to push the product for them. Christian has done this phenomenally well. So we learned from Christian that you can push personal branding, and typically the people who will follow your personal branding journey are people who identify with you personally, your core values, your ethics, what you stand for. They like you and they want to support you, especially if you're providing value to them consistently. So today you can actually start your own personal brand. It can be as simple as seeing what niche, what gap in the market that you want to provide value to, educating yourself or letting people know what your journey has been and building a brand off of the back of that. And then finding the right product to put in front of your customers and make a relatable connection with them. And believe me, they will want to support you in anything that you do. 2 is the idea of community building. Alphalete Athletics has always been a community-driven brand. Whether you're a male or whether you're a female, you find some element of the brand appealing to you. This is why Christian has gone out of his way over the last couple of years to build things like Alphalete Gym, to build things like Alpha Eats, to build Alphalete the brand itself, to build Alpha Land. It is a community-driven brand that really focuses on understanding who we are, which is the learn more, dream more, be more mantra, and investing that into every facet of the business. So you're willing to pay those premium prices for the Amplify leggings or the Stride jogger because you believe in the core messaging of the brand. You'd rather go for an Alphalete product than that of a competitor because you're no longer competing on price. You're competing on brand value. You're competing on what and how you relate to the brand. This is essential. So how does one build a community? You build a community by actually building a community, by giving people a shared identity by which they can actually fall underneath and giving them a physical space or a digital space that they can get together on, whether that's having some sort of YouTube channel where you encourage customers and you encourage people to consistently engage with you through the comments, through some sort of partnership program, whether it's through a Discord, whether it's through meetups, Whether it's simply through the messaging that you have on your Instagram, on your TikTok, that identifies who you are, what you stand for, that allows customers to engage and to relate with one another. When you have that consistency, believe me when I say you are on the right track to building that community and expanding on the value that customers are willing to pay for your products. The last thing is brand identity. I always say that Alphalete has a unique brand identity that they are consistent on. When you look at Alphalete throughout the years, they have evolved, but they have maintained that consistency in terms of helping you look and feel your best. This is a direct embodiment of their learn more, dream more, and be more philosophy. But it also goes beyond that. It goes into allowing you to feel confident, allowing you to feel your very best, and the fact that your clothing and the clothing that you buy from them makes you have that emotional reaction is why they can command their prices, is why they can consistently reach the top of the charts in their respective demographics. The second brand that we're going to be talking about is Heidi Sommer's brand, which is Buffbunny. Buffbunny is an extremely well-known brand, specifically in the female athleisure and activewear space. I would say Buffbunny is someone or a brand that truly resonates with its customers because of its focus on targeting the ideal customer. So if you look at Heidi is herself an influencer, someone who has built a strong community through her bubbly personality, through the way that she has transformed her own life and her own body over the years, through her ability to come from a small rural town in Alaska and then come into a much larger way of life in mainland US. And this is something that she's documented over the years. She's built a loyal fan base off of the back of that. So she is extremely good at focusing on her target ideal customer, even through her name. It has two parts to it, Buff and Bunny. The buff here gives the idea of strength, of perseverance, of endurance, and then Bunny gives that beautiful femininity, that playfulness, that identity of duality that they're extremely well known for, that they carry through in all their messaging, in all their community events, in all of their products, so on and so forth. This comes down to as well, they have great product diversity. So what I mean by that is Heidi wants to give clothing for every female and every body to feel great in. It's about making people look and feel their best regardless of what their body shape is, what their proportions are. And she goes out of her way in her product offering and her product development process. And I've seen it firsthand in terms of how she prototypes, how she samples, how she fits on a variety of different body types, the numerous rounds of samples that she goes through to ensure that regardless of proportions, there's a product for you that fits perfectly. Even in how she reviews her products and how she showcases them prior to launch on different body types through her Instagram, through her YouTube, she really goes out of her way to ensure that you know how a product fits and if it's going to be the right fit for you. Lastly is she is not afraid to take risks and to have fun with the brand. Over the years, I've consistently seen Heidi update her approach and create products that are very unique for the market segment that she's in. Whether it's her game changer tote bag or the overalls that she designed a while back, Heidi looks at products as an ability to see what the pulse of the market is at any given moment. So the game changer tote bag is a great example of blending in the sportiness of a tote or a duffel and the luxury, the femininity, the daily versatility of a tote bag. By having both of those blend in with all those strategic and functional pockets, she's able to straddle that perfect balance between lifestyle and activewear and allow her customers to take her products with them anywhere they go and in any situation that they are in. One thing I also love that she does is she's so well attuned to where pop culture is and where the social zeitgeist of the moment is. She's always creating collections that have themes, that have very specific aesthetics, and really there is a risk-taking element to them, because if you look at the specific themes that she might do, maybe it's the ocean theme, maybe it's the dream house theme, whether it's all of these different themes that sometimes vary from collection to collection, they're just fun. They are an identity to the brand that is fresh, that doesn't look at what competitors are doing, that says, I'm carving out my own space in this niche and I want to bring my own influence into what I am doing. A good example of this is sort of her Barbie inspired collection called the Dreamhouse collection that she did a while back, that she actually commemorated with a physical in-person event with these huge Barbie-like boxes where all of her models were dressed up in the clothing that she had designed specifically for this collection, that had pseudo influences from Barbie and the fashion aesthetic that we see in historical Barbie and the Barbie of that moment. Even in her marketing materials, they kind of related to the Barbie trailer of the time. So it was just a great way to catch a wave and to have a little bit of fun and to tell our customers that don't take yourself too seriously. We don't, so why should you? And just have a little bit of fun and relate to them even better. The last thing that I love about Heidi is she is not afraid to delegate. Heidi infuses her personality into everything that she does, and this brings an authenticity to the brand where with many owner-operated brands, you see as they scale the business, owners become less and less involved and they let their teams take over. With Heidi, she does a great balance of being involved to bring in that unique appeal that only she can bring to any given scenario, so that you get a Heidi Sommers original, but at the same time, she lets her team do what her team needs to do so that they can scale the business, so that they can get more impact. There's no point in you wanting to be gung-ho on doing every single part of your business, but you have the resources, you have the essential elements that you need to scale, but you don't do it. This in there is limiting yourself, and it's actually limiting the potential of others to engage and to enjoy your brand. So find the right people, but give them the guidance and direction, the guardrails that they need to create authentic product that your customers are going to love and that actually brought your customers in the first place. So she has that authenticity that consistently tells customers or remind customers why they chose to purchase from Buffbunny in the first place. Number 3 on the list is going to be YoungLA, which is one of the industry's fastest growing brands. And I wouldn't personally categorize them as a purely sportswear brand. They've become so much more than that. They're owned by Gary and Deshmit. These are exceptional entrepreneurs, and what I love about Gary and Deshmit is they move so fast. I've seen their inner workings directly, and I know at the speed in which they execute. They were extremely well known for coming out with collection after collection. Pretty much every single month they would be dropping a new collection. This is even a couple of years ago, when you might say that they weren't even that large, but they understood their market. They understood this new Gen Z generation and how they need to maintain relevancy, how they need to always have something new to launch with, how they need to renew customers' interest in their brand by consistently offering new collections. And that is extremely difficult. I've been on the back end and I understand how much work and effort it is to not only design a collection, but to ensure that you have samples on hand, to give feedback, to review samples, and to make sure that these samples are ready to turn into physical products to launch all at a specific time within a specific period, and to do that month on month on month, and to be able to coordinate all of that cash flow that is necessary, all of that development necessary, and to make sure that everything is shot, is pre-marketed, the website is operating, the website is ready for launch on time, month after month, is extremely difficult. So that adaptability and that consistency and being able to launch consistently is essential. 2 is they are not afraid to invest in the growth of their brand. I've already spoken that they are very quick in terms of how they take decisions, whether it's the decision to launch a new product range that they don't know even if it may work or it might not work, such as their accessories, such as some of the unique products that they put out over the last couple of years, their denim accessories, all these new things that they're getting into, or even their YoungLA for her brand, which was historically a new category for YoungLA that they had not touched. They're extremely well known for being a male-focused brand, and they still are a male-focused brand, but they've been very, very able to take risk and to go into new categories and to see how those product categories work for them, or if they don't work for them, they just pivot and then they continue. The last thing is they are market innovators. So they are exceptional marketers. There is no major influencer that is relevant within the fitness niche that has the attention of the Gen Z generation that YoungLA has not impacted or has not integrated with at any given moment. They know where their customers' attention is, and they are not afraid to find the right influencer, to create the right deal with them, and to have consistency in them. They pay them very well, They have long contracts with them that are very, very fruitful for both sides, and they just take risks. Whether it's in integrating with someone like Alex Eubank, who is just very, very well known in his specific niche, in his demographic, or with Arnold Schwarzenegger, or with Arthur Shelby of Peaky Blinders, they just are able to take these amazing risks that just pay off for them tenfold. They know what it takes to garner attention and to keep customers engaged through their marketing efforts. So what we've learned from them is they're just adaptable, they move fast, they invest in the growth, and they are market innovators or marketing innovators. Number 4 on the list is going to be Inaka. That is owned by Charlie Coker and Co. There's a couple other founders, but Inaka is just predominantly well known for being owned by Charlie. The first thing that they do is they are exceptional brand and community builders. Whether it's originally in their Inaka podcast or it's in their Inaka running club, they have physical events, they have digital events, they have an SMS club that they do consistently to help customers feel as if they are a part of a community. They repost their customers often through their social media channels, whether it's through Instagram stories or through TikTok. They are very, very focused on making customers feel that they are part of the Inaka brand, even through their graphics, through their products, through how they communicate the essence of what it means to be an Inaka member or a part of the Inaka club. This is essential because when you build a community, you get customers to feel that they are part of something bigger than themselves. We as humans want and value that connection. And you might be focused or you might be confused to think, how can a fashion brand build community? A fashion brand is the tangible way that you build community, but a community is based on values, it's based on a shared identity, it's based on ideals, and the products end up being a vessel for people to communicate that to others, almost like a uniform of sorts. Next is going to be their focused product offering. So I always like to say, in fashion, 20% of your efforts will reap 80% of your results. And there's no better brand that exemplifies this than Inaka. If you look at Inaka, sure, they have different sub-brands. They've experimented with supplements, they've experimented with a performance line, but at their core, Inaka, the performance or Inaka, the brand that you know and love, is based on 3 core products: the hoodie, the mesh short, and the graphic t-shirt. They come out with a variety of different designs and elements of these products, but those are the 3 core products that they're extremely well known for, that I know for a fact bring them the majority of their sales and their revenue. They come out season after season with these amazing products, these fun prints that really expand on what customers know and love, and they're not afraid to take risks every now and then with unique sub-brands or other adjacent product categories that they get a sense for how customers are reacting. But this is a great idea of how 20% of the products can yield 80% of the results, and how a brand has taken advantage of that and is trying to rehash this existing formula in different and innovative ways consistently throughout the years. Also, one thing that we need to round out on is SuperX, owned by Austin Gain. This is one of my favorite brands to talk about because I know the founder personally. Of course, I know all the other founders personally, but this founder I've worked extensively season after season, collection after collection, and we have seen this brand go from really what your brand might look like today, which is 0 sales, to something that is a multi-million-dollar brand, pulling in millions and millions of amazing customers every single season. And this is started by understanding your market niche. So SuperX is the perfect blend of activewear and superhero inspired apparel. You might think that that is a combination that doesn't necessarily make sense, because perhaps those who are engaged in the superhero space might just want merchandise or memorabilia, and those who are into activewear might want just traditional activewear. But this is a great idea of understanding market niches and finding unique overlaps where, yes, it may be a risk to tap into that niche, but identifying that market niche correctly can represent massive opportunity in terms of a blue ocean. And SuperX exemplifies this like none other. Their understanding of this market is key. Also, they focus on building what I consider to be unique intersections within their niche. So what does this mean? SuperX started off by being inspired by superheroes. They would create Venom-inspired outfits, Spider-Man inspired outfits, Flash-inspired outfits. They've done this throughout the years when they had zero development budget, and they would be very smart about how they made it inspired. They would never mention the name of the IP because, of course, it's illegal. They knew that they needed to respect the IP of the brands that they were taking inspiration from, but they also wanted to give customers that loved these IPs a little bit of a sense of they were the Flash, they were Spider-Man, they were Venom. So they would create these beautiful inspired tracksuits that were inspired by the visual cuts of the garments, the color schemes, the form-fitting silhouette that made you look and feel like a superhero. But over the years, then they've taken more and more risk. They've definitely seen the ability of people to want to look and feel like these superheroes. They've actually done official collaborations now. So they've bought the licenses and they've done official collaborations with brands like Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed, Marvel with a variety of different IPs, which I will not mention at the moment, but I'm sure you can guess of a couple. And of course, Hasbro with Power Rangers, Transformers, creating unique products that are now officially licensed that customers can buy into to look and feel like the superheroes that they grew up watching. And let's face it, who doesn't want to feel like a superhero? Lastly is they just really know that their core customer or their customer avatar and what they respond to through their messaging, through their marketing, through their pricing strategy. They're not afraid to invest into the highest quality of product. If you look at an average SuperX product, it has easily 200 to 300% more labor and more craftsmanship in it when you compare it to a traditional non-branded activewear brand. And this is a risk that Austin was willing to take early on to bring out a product that he's pretty much needing to price at a standard price point. Sure, it may be a little bit more expensive than your average zip-up hoodie, but understanding that in delivering this unique product that others were not willing to design, develop, and go through the headache of doing, they were going to be able to tap into something unique and something that was needed in the market. And that is definitely something that I have taken away from SuperX over the last couple of years, is understand your customer avatar, understanding what their needs are, what their dreams are, what they want to be, and serve that market. Even if you believe that market is such a small niche, it may be such a small niche because others have found it maybe as something that is not worth tapping into. So that risk there is what your opportunity is. So finding risks and turning those risks into opportunities, especially in saturated markets, is definitely something that is a key takeaway from SuperX. So to recap quickly, we looked at Alphalete. Alphalete has great community building, and Christian's personal branding approach has been a key driver. Heidi's consistency over the years, understanding her core customer and maintaining a sense of fun but also strength in her brand through how she targets the female demographic and the versatile selection of sizes that she offers. With Gary and Dashmeet Singh's brand YoungLA consistently coming out with new collections, tapping into the social zeitgeist of the moment, and also finding the right influencers and not being afraid to market with those influencers no matter how much it costs. Inaka's ability to build communities and create physical events and focused on core product ranges that give them the majority of the results. And finally, Austin's ability to find unique niches in the market and overlap different market segments together to create a blue ocean of open opportunity that he is now reaping the benefits for. So let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up. Consider subscribing on the channel. This was a little bit more of an informal video, but I couldn't stay away from you guys. I wanted to get this episode out. If you guys don't mind this episode and maybe want to see more frequent uploads like this, I typically like to upload twice a week. Maybe I can come out with more episodes. So smash the massive thumbs up below. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Leave a comment on what other topics you want to see in the future. And guys, I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.